Hello, everyone. I welcome you to another learning workshop. Friends, this workshop is titled What Happens When We Attack Our Brain? Now, you must be wondering what kind of a title is this? So, my intention, friends, is to help you get to the very fundamental, the uh, basic of understanding what is it that we usually do that translates into how we attack our own brain, and then what is it that leads to it. So, there are oftentimes issues and problems in our life which we find ourselves stuck in because fundamentally we are not understanding where is it we are going wrong. So, my workshop, as on today, what happens when we attack our brain, is to help you, to teach you fundamentally where you are going wrong so that you don't repeat that and find your way out to healing. Let's get started. Our brain is one of the most complex and one of the most beautiful organs that any other species in the entire uh, planet Earth may possess. It's both mysterious and magical. And one of the most fascinating things about our brain is that we still, when I say we, the major neuroscientist and the scientists per se, are still working on to demystify the complex working of our brain. So, my idea of creating this workshop is to simplify one bit of it because it's as vast as our cosmos and as complex which our mind can't even fathom or comprehend. So the idea here is to simplify and help you understand one tiny basic element of our brain and how we are the one influencing it and we are the one bearing the long-term consequences of it. State of attack. Now, what I really mean here is I would want you to recall a situation in your life when things didn't go the way you wanted it to be. Assignments get delayed, project deadlines are not met. We have conflicts with our at workspace. We also have conflicts back home with our parents, siblings, partners, and also there are times when everything that we may have had put in efforts and plan just does not result in the way we wanted it to be. And as an outcome, a result of it, we indulge in self talk. This is how, and this is what I meant here by a state of attack. It is we, our own self, attacking our own self. And how we do that? We do that by a negative self talk. The negative self talk can be expressed in many ways. Each one of us have our own ways of being negative towards ourselves. Some people judge themselves. Some people second guess all their good efforts. Some self criticize very harshly and brutally. Some are extremely rude. Some are angry with their own self to an extent that it might even damage their relations with others who play a pivotal and a key role in their life. All of this stems from our various ways of attacking our own self. And how we do that? We do that through negative self talk. What I want here to bring your attention to also is, friends, that what we tell ourselves matter. We may We may be in this habit of constantly judging ourselves or criticizing ourselves, but we seldom realize, in fact, we do not realize that all that we are telling ourselves every time we are being rude to our own selves, we're being angry with ourselves, we are putting our mind, our brain into a state of attack. It is we, our negativity, our criticism, that's bringing our brain into a constant radar state of attack that the organ, the brain, perceives as a threat. And when we constantly do this, we then realize, you will, as you see, as we move ahead in this workshop, the real negative consequences of putting our brain into a constant state of attack. So do not undermine what you tell yourself. Believe me, it has a very deep connect with your inner mind, and the more rude and angry and harsh you are with in your self-talk to your own self, the results of it would be cascading down, not just in your life, but even in your job, in your role as a parent, as a child, as a partner, as a leader, everywhere. So understand that this is where it all begins. This negative self-talk is where you bring your mind into a state of attack, which then leads to and cascades down to series of negative consequences. The second most important thing when we attack our mind through our negative self-talk, self-loathing, self-criticism, being harsh and rude, is that our mind may not fully understand this is the person itself is so much being rude and harsh towards its own self. And since we've been evoluting since billions of years of our evolution, one thing that have stayed with this organ is that its need to feel safe. Even though our neurons and the whole mechanism of our brain is still way too complex and it has evolved in a more sophisticated way. However, the basic need of our mind or of our brain is the need to feel safe. Safety is its first and it's a core need of the brain. So when we attack our mind through self-criticism, self-talk, our own anger towards ourselves, when things don't go the way we want them to be, our mind wonders how can it get back to that safe mode. Make a note here, friends, that our brain cannot differentiate. It is we who is criticizing our own self. It is we who are kind of attacking our own brain with our harsh talk, punishing our own selves, being rude towards ourselves. All it recognizes that it is under attack, and all it wants is safety. Now, this is what you see on your screen is how we are. This picture denotes how when we are constantly in a mode of rumination and being very, very harsh towards our own self. And this is where our mind get to on a thinking mode, thinking of how to get back to that safety mode. And in order to get back to that safe mode and stop being attacked, the brain think of all these mechanisms, which are the most common incorrect coping mechanism 99% of us use when we find ourselves in a situations or going through difficult emotions where, since we already have attacked our own mind through our self negative talk and we don't know the harm we are doing to ourselves, the other part of our own self, of our mind, is trying to pull us out to safety. And in order to do so, here's where we take these habits up. I want you now to pause this video and read through this in detail. I'm sure you may relate to either one or two very closely to how you cope when you go through a difficult time. And this, what is listed here, are the most common incorrect coping mechanisms we all adapt. So think of a time where you've been finding yourself trapped and stuck in life just because you've been indulging in all these habits, these bad habits, and you still feel, why is it that I am not able to find a way out? After some time, I am back to square one. The relief is just temporary. So, friends, the answer to that is our own attack towards our own self through our negative self talk. Do not undermine the power our self talk has on our inner self. If we are able to tap into our inner wisdom and find solutions, same way, we are equally capable of bringing more harm to ourselves than anybody else. And this is how we attack our mind, where the mind in search of safety may lead us to all these bad habits and incorrect coping mechanisms only to feel safe and protected. If you could relate to even one of it, it's time you need to take a pause and think, how can I find a way out? One of the most easiest way, friends, is to be kind to all kind, which is to exercise kindness. But before anyone else, be kind to your own mind. Now you must be wondering, how could I do that? Well, to that, I invite you for a free coaching consultation call in which I can help you understand, why is it that you've been stuck in life, you feel trapped, you feel you've tried all methods, but you still feel not being able to heal, or that you not really been able to find a way out. You find yourself going back in circles, you find yourself adapting to all these incorrect coping mechanisms which I just shared, and you feel you're back to square one. Connect, let's talk, and I look forward to helping you, teaching you the right coping mechanisms that could heal you, put you on a path that you never ever have to go back to this situation again. Thank you so much, and I look forward to connect with you on a call shortly.